Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Anea and today we're going to go over my week 23 and 24 pregnancy update. The last couple weeks have been really busy for me because we've had a lot of trips planned. We went to Ren Fair last weekend in Maine with all of our friends, which was really fun. And then coming back and catching up on all the chores and the house and all of that. So that is why I missed last week. But let's get right into it. So, week 23. For development, baby is about the size of a grapefruit, which is about 12 inches. Their face is fully formed. Their skin is getting pinker, and they're starting to develop a sleep and wake pattern, which is true. I notice baby is typically waking up at about the time that I wake up, which is like 10. Don't judge me. I'm pregnant. And then once I'm up and moving, they slow down and go to sleep for a while. And then when I lay down at like 3-ish for a nap, they usually wake back up. And then after my nap, they are back asleep. And then they wake up again like 10-ish, usually about the time when I'm sitting at my computer or watching TV, winding down for the night. So yeah. And then for symptoms, we've got a lot of the usual stuff. We've got back aches, fatigue, still have the occasional pelvic pain, like the round ligament pain. Still have tender boobs. Things that are a little bit different this week are having more like upper abdominal pain, and peeing a lot more often. I really thought I dodged the bullet on the frequent peeing because everybody talked about it in the first trimester and I didn't have it then. But I definitely am having it now. When it comes to the abdominal pain, we'll talk more about the appointment in the next week here. But I did have a prenatal appointment and mentioned it to them. And the OB was not super concerned. They said as long as when if I sit down and rest and the pain goes away, that it's not a big deal. That cramping and stuff is a lot more common in the hot weather. And I was experiencing the majority of this cramping when I was like out at Ren Fair, like in 30 plus degree weather. So that tracks. And that's it for 23 weeks. I can't show you what my bump looked like 2 weeks ago. But I did get pictures at Ren Fair, so I can post a couple pictures here of me at Ren Fair that show off my bump. Yeah. And then for last week, developmentally, baby was about the size of a pomegranate, which is about 12.5 inches. They said that they are about the length of a newborn onesie, and the weight of a large jar of peanut butter. So that's very exciting. Each week, baby is growing about 3 to 6 ounces to help begin regulating body temperature. So they are finally putting on some more fat, which is exciting. I want the chunkiest baby. They've begun developing surfactants. Essentially what that is it assists in opening of tiny air sacs inside the lungs. And they are practicing breathing amniotic fluid through their nose now, and their auditory system is growing at a rapid pace. So they've been able to like vaguely hear things for a while now, but like they're really starting to be able to hear a lot now. And then and then last week I had my OB appointment, which is just like my monthly prenatal. Every prenatal they do the Doppler, and baby sounds great. And every prenatal they check my weight, and throughout this whole pregnancy I've gone up and down a lot, but total I've only gained like a pound the whole time, which I think is kind of strange, but I don't know. I haven't had the hugest appetite in general. I have a few days where like I'm ravenous, but like overall I've been pretty low appetite, so I guess that's maybe it. But the OB has not said anything of concern. I know because I was a bit thicker when I started my pregnancy that they don't really want me to gain a whole lot of weight anyway. So I guess it's fine. I also have my second diabetes test booked for this month. When I did it a month or two ago, I had to do like the 1 hour test, and then I failed that one, and then had to do the 2 hour test and pass with flying colors. So they're skipping the first test for me this time and just getting me to do the 2 hour test. And it also seems like they're getting me to do the 2 hour test a little differently. If you remember last time, I like got my blood taken before I had the drink, and then I drank the drink, and then an hour later I got my blood taken, and then an hour after that I got my blood taken. And it seems like this time they're just doing the before, and then I have the drink, and then I just wait 2 hours and then have the one blood work after 2 hours. They're doing this because I passed so well the first time when I did the second version of the test, that they're not too concerned. It's more just precautionary. So that's exciting. Glad that they're trying to not give me as many needles. I feel like there was one other thing. Oh, I don't think that was what I was thinking either. I think that's just another thing. Nothing bad for sure. I don't know. I'll tell you the thing that came to my mind. On Sunday of week 24, which was like the first day of week 24 for me, I am pretty positive I lost my mucus plug. I mentioned it at my appointment, and they are also not worried about that. It's not uncommon to lose it early, and it grows back. So that was a thing. And I really feel like I'm forgetting one more thing, but if I think of it, I'll just insert it when I think of it. Okay, and then for symptoms, as I mentioned, lost mucus plug, the usual backache, tired, pelvic pain, some cramping, nothing crazy though, tender boobs. I haven't been able to tell so much if I'm feeling bloated or if my stomach is just getting big enough that it kind of just always feels tight. So I'm not quite sure about that. I'm sure there's probably a little bit of bloating in there. And then we have some new things. Well, I guess the frequent peeing isn't so new, but it was very prominent this last weekend. I'll tell you that. Tristan and I went on a little trip to Quebec, and I was peeing like no one's business. But the two symptoms that are definitely new is some swelling. Um, I it was funny, like I think it was Monday or Tuesday of last week, but I remember looking at my like feet and ankles and being like, I don't remember being this fat here. I'm like, I know I didn't ever really have like the daintiest ankles, but I don't remember having straight up cankles. um, and then a day or two after that, I looked back at my ankles and noticed that they looked more like I remember them looking. And I took pictures of them so that if I feel like they look swollen again, I have a reference image. But I'm pretty sure I had some swelling. And honestly, that doesn't surprise me given that I had just spent the whole weekend up and moving at Ren Fair. And then the last new thing is lactation. So, pretty much this whole trimester, which I'm almost done, I'm almost in the third. I would like once ish a week try and like hand express just to see if anything, like if my colostrum, which is the first milk, was coming in or anything like that. And nothing has ever happened while doing that. And then this is a little TMI, but I noticed that one of my nipples was just looking kind of swollen. And so I tried last week, like on Wednesday or Thursday, and I did leak the teeniest bit of colostrum. So I'm not leaking like on my own, but if I try to hand express, it is there. I am no longer doing that because hand expressing um, can trigger labor. So now that I know that it is happening, I'm not doing that anymore. Although once I get to about week 37, you can start hand expressing again and like collecting that colostrum. Um, because once you hit like 37 weeks, anywhere between 37 and 40 weeks or longer is considered like full term and safe to birth. And having that extra colostrum on hand can be really great if your baby is struggling to latch for whatever reason, or there's any other little complications. You at least have like colostrum on hand that's been pumped um, to give to baby if for whatever reason you can't get a good latch at the beginning. So I will be doing that, but that's still a good 2 months away, I believe. It's so crazy. The third trimester starts week 28, I believe, and I am week 25 right now. So it's crazy how time is flying. But yeah, so that's kind of exciting. It gives me a little bit of reassurance that hopefully I will be able to breastfeed. I know not everyone is able to, and I'll be really sad if I can't. But that does give me a little bit of reassurance. And then last thing is a bump update. I will say I have noticed that moving around is getting harder. I am waddling more. I can't walk for as long distances without getting tired. And I'm moaning and groaning when I'm getting up and down from places. But anyway. Ugh. So this is what we're working with. It's pretty obvious now. I feel like still if I'm wearing, like, if I'm not, like, trying to show you, like, obviously if you know I'm pregnant, you know, like, you can see it, but I feel like just walking around, like, I'm not, like, super obvious. Except for when I'm wearing, like, a tight dress. Like, I really like to wear form-fitting dresses, and you can definitely tell then. But yeah, it's definitely getting pretty obvious, and I surprise myself pretty much every time I look in the mirror now. But it's very exciting. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for listening to today's video, and I should see you next week. I don't think next week is too busy yet. Bye.